There we go. Oh, okay.
All right. It looks like we're live. So I'm doing the thing where I pause when talking because when we would go through YouTube, it would cut off the first 5-7 seconds. And now that I've spoken for 5-7 seconds, hello, idiots on parade, the Too Ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. I am Nathan Timmel, stand-up comedian in Iowa City. With me, as always, is Jake Vevra, stand-up comedian in New York City. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
Well, we'll find out. It is we don't usually go live on Mondays, so we're rocking a whole one viewer right now. Usually we get more because we're on the weekend. More people are off work. But is this volume on your? I'm really loud in my own ear. Yeah, so we'll see if anybody shows up on a Monday. But you were on vacation, so we're making it work, and I have camp drop off and pick up, and I had doctor's appointments. So Mondays not the best, but we're gonna be doing it again too because well we'll talk later, but either way we're here, we're having it.
Either way, thanks for making the adjustment. And
No,
sorry, my voice is a little hoarse. I drove all yesterday and didn't sleep the night before, and that kind of like I don't know, man. It just drained me, and then I just fucking got a cold out of nowhere, man. So
I do it every week. The other week I actually, for the first time ever, I realized I'm getting old. So I had a gig in Oklahoma and I drove to Kansas City, spent the night in a hotel in southern Kansas City, and then drove to Oklahoma. But then after the gig, 9 hours overnight back home, just muscling it out,
yeah, I hate the
drinking.
overnight
Oh, I
drive.
love the overnight. There are no cars on the road. There are no semis. I love it.
No,
There's
it's
no
no, the
hot
ride itself is
sun
fine. It's the next
beating.
day, man.
Yeah, no sun beating down on the dashboard. But all right, I want to open this week with really, really good news. I mean, I opened last week. I think I opened last week with really bad news. The biggest news of the week last week. This week we are opening with good news. Last week, I don't think they filed for bankruptcy. I've already forgotten, but Hooters was closing restaurants in an attempt to save the company. They were going to close a handful of restaurants. Well, American hero Hulk Hogan is stepping in. He wants to reimagine Hooters
Boom.
restaurants as his real American beer brand makes a new bid to save the chain. That's right. You could drink Bud Light, you could drink Miller Lite, you could drink any beer that tastes like watered down piss, or you could drink watered down piss that has the name Real American Beer on it. And yeah, he wants to buy Hooters. He's going to save Hooters because there's nothing better than piss beer than big boobs.
I like it. I'm actually really just looking for the forward to the promos, because now he's going to be doing commercials for Hooters, and he's just going to be like, "How you doing out there, Hooter maniacs? I know you're tired of coming to Hooters and the waitresses don't look like the ones in commercials. Well, now you don't get hired as a waitress at Hooters unless your tits are as big as mine." It's going to be great.
But aren't his masculine boobs firm? Here's what I like: his
Oh
beer.
yeah. No, he's still jacked for like a 75-year-old
He
man or
is.
whatever. He's fucking jacked.
I want the female boobs should be more feminine and soft. Rich and Ultra are here. Hello, Ultra mentioned Rich.
Well, I get it. I didn't say Hulk Hogan said that they were going to have the same shape. All right, we're just going for size here. If they got
Just
the same,
size.
if they got the same shape, then I would imagine that the Hulkster wouldn't be too pleased.
That would make sense. Well, CEO Terry Francis of Real America, which was founded in 2024, this beer is a baby. It's a year old. Hulk Hogan and Real America Beer are fully committed to protecting, and revitalizing the iconic American brand Hooters. Yes, because why would we grow, develop, or evolve as a nation and say, you know what, we don't need to eat at a restaurant that serves garbage food just because the girls have big breasts? No, it's iconic. We must maintain the status quo at all costs, even if it does seem a bit antiquated.
No, I think it's cool. It's just you got to get better food is all. I don't.
Yeah.
Do the same scheme, but just get decent food. I'm not going to eat terrible food just because I go, oh, look, a lady that's wearing slightly skimpier clothes than most waitresses do. Like, I'm not, like, it's just not happening. It's like, bro, you got to move into 2025. I've been to strip clubs with buffets. Okay, you got to up your game. You got to up your game if you're Hooters. They either got to wear less clothes or have better food.
I can't remember if I mentioned this, but I had a gig outside of Chicago several months ago, and the restaurant.
Oh, shit. Okay, before you do that, wait. Sophie and Ken has a good one in the comments. Hogan's Hooters, oldest waitress in the business.
That is good.
Waitresses. Sorry.
No, I was just saying I went to a Cajun. They had comedy at a Cajun restaurant. There was like two sides, restaurant side, bar side, and they set up comedy in the bar side, which was good. You don't want to be talking over people eating, but the waitresses there wore uniforms that were like meant to. It was like Mardi Gras theme, so they were risque, and
right.
Only one of them pulled it off. It was like you'd look at her and you'd be like, "Oh, okay, she's," but the rest of them, nah, not so much. So again, if you're gonna, if your marketing scheme is our food sucks, but at least the girls have big boobs, you can't advertise the women that are models that you hired and then hire locals that just aren't cutting it. You got to have.
That's right. That's right. It makes me want to do, and I apologize if I did this joke on here before. I don't remember, but it makes me want to freak out like Michael Douglas and Falling Down and just take the whole restaurant hostage and be like, does this lady look like the one on the poster? No?
Yep.
Then we're all eating at gunpoint, damn it.
Okay, I said I couldn't remember if they did file. Hooters filed for bankruptcy, $376 million in debt. So,
but like according to the article, they're going to run into some legal issues. A, because of the debt, because if they take it over, I believe they still have to pay bondholders. Which I mean, I don't know how much of that debt is bonds, but I'd imagine a significant amount. And then the other problem is legally, and I didn't realize this, you can't own a restaurant if you're an alcohol company. So they have to like do some switching around with the paperwork and make like a shell company or something.
I was just gonna say they'll make a shell company. It'd be Real.
Yeah.
Wasn't the parent company Real American, and then Real American owned Real Beer, so it'd be Real American that owns Hooters, and they own American Beer. But
so it'd be Real American Hooters that sells Real American beer.
Here's what I want to know.
That's fun.
The article says they closed 40 stores last year. They just announced they're closing 30. That's 70 Hooters. How many are there? It's not like McDonald's. There's not a Hooters in, like, they're not like 5 Hooters in every town like McDonald's or even. How many are left? Like, if Hulk Hogan really wants to buy the Hooters name, I think he could set up 2 or 3 locations: LA, Las Vegas, New York, or maybe just one. Do like, remember Hooters, like a nostalgia play. Go to Vegas where everything goes to die and set up one Hooters, and you just sort of like remember Hooters, here it is in Vegas. That's what he should do.
That's right. That's right. You go in there and it's like the 90s again. They're playing Smash Mouth and everything. You're not allowed to have your cell phones out at the table.
I have been meaning to make a video. I post a video every day on social media, and I've been meaning to make this for months, and maybe you can help me phrase it correctly. I don't understand why Amy Winehouse is looked upon as a musical genius, or was looked upon, and Smash Mouth is looked upon as a joke, when they both did the exact same thing. They both took an old style of music, made it a little modern, and suddenly Amy Winehouse, oh my God, they asked me to go to...
Are you kidding me? You're going to tell me that the singer of Smash Mouth has as good a voice as Amy Winehouse?
It's not about as good a voice. They had catchier songs. Smash Mouth, much more listenable than Amy Winehouse. Their songs were popular. Yes, fuck yes.
They were corny dog shit songs then.
No.
They are corny dog shit songs now.
Nope, they were fun.
Dude, I hope anybody who likes this goes and walks on the sun. I hope they fly to the sun with that dude who...
Walking on the Sun is a catchier tune than Rehab, my friend.
Oh my God.
And less redundant.
And she's got an amazing voice. Honestly, I thought you were going to go the route to where it's like, well, the songs aren't necessarily like, Bob Dylan or nothing, but
neither one are Bob Dylan. She's got
an amazing voice.
She does have
she's got an amazing voice.
But her songs aren't that great.
Dude, her voice is amazing. What are you talking about? She's got that smoky voice.
I just said her voice is great. Her songs aren't.
Oh, I thought you said it wasn't good.
No,
the songs are pretty good too. You know what I mean? Like, you can take a pretty good song with an amazing voice, and it crushes. Whereas Smash Mouth was Smash Mouth was a shitty voice and even shittier songs. Like, it was
his shitty voice matched the shitty songs, and that's what made it work.
I mean, it is the perfect music that should be playing in every Hooters. It really should be. It's as shitty as Hooters hot wings are. It's as bad as their food. They should only, he needs to open up a retro Hooters and just play terrible Smash Mouth songs. I can't say Smash Mouth.
I stand to it. I don't understand why she's looked at as an idol and they're not, but all right. So we didn't really talk about it much. There was a big hullabaloo over Trump's parade building up to it. A lot of fucking liberals were crying and whining. And was it stupid of him to spend a lot of money for no reason? Yes. Is he a hypocrite because he did talk about Doge and saving money and they're just going to, yes. But man, all that crybaby shit. I can't believe we're doing this. I can't believe we're having a parade. What a fucking bomb that was. Weak turnout. That was kind of funny.
I mean, the thing is he does seem to want to have this sort of thing where he's looked at like a strong man. You know what I mean? Like a dictator or whatever. Here's what you don't get about most dictators' parades, Trump. Those people are forced to show up. You know what I mean? It's not like most people in North Korea and Nazi Germany was like, oh, I know what is fun. Instead of taking the kids to Disneyland, let's go see the rockets going down the street. Let's stand in sun all day and wave at people goose stepping. I love the goose step. No, there was some of those people who were like way pumped up about the government, especially in the capital. That tends to go how it goes with these dictators. The capitals are great. Everywhere else kind of sucks. But everywhere else, they will take a break out of their busy day to show up to watch dear leader waving in a Rolls Royce or whatever, or they will feel the blunt side of that parade after it's done.
I did see, and we'll talk about the No Kings protests at the same time because those were apparently very big. And I saw on social media people comparing the pictures, like, look at nobody showing up for Trump's parade. Ha ha, No Kings protests are awesome. The power is behind us. He still won, right? Like, I don't understand.
Well, that's just it. And I'm glad you brought that up. He did still win an election. Here's the thing. Now, granted, I voted against the guy, but the people I voted for, do you think I would take a fucking vacation day from work to go watch them ride a fucking tank on their birthday? No. There's not a single politician I would do that for. If you brought JFK, wait, I would still watch the clips on YouTube.
If Michael Dukakis did a sequel to his tank ride, I would go watch that because that shit was hilarious. That's the only one. I would watch Michael.
Wait, which one?
Michael Dukakis. That's how he lost to George Bush Sr. They put Michael Dukakis in a tank with a helmet. He's like, I'm driving a tank. He looked like
pretty hilarious.
Fucking goofball. He looked so stupid. It helped.
That's why I don't know the name Michael Dukakis. Trump did not learn the Dukakis lesson.
Well, either way, that's the only. But you are absolutely right. If Kamala had decided to throw a parade, who would go fucking watch that? But yeah, I love all the people saying no kings, the power with the people. The people lost. You people that say you have the power, you lost. Trump is president. He threw a parade. You protested. Or you could just live your own fucking lives. You could literally just, I don't know, go see a movie instead of either protesting or going to a parade.
You can. I mean, I think it is kind of a cool move, though, that the protests had bigger turnouts than the fucking parades. You know what I mean? Hilarious. Like it's a big fuck you to him, and yeah, good for him. He deserves it. Waste, fraud, and abused, and then I'm going to spend $11 trillion on a fucking birthday parade. Are you out of your goddamn mind?
Yeah. Yep. Ultra says, I'm sorry, Nathan, Smash Mouth and Amy Winehouse are not comparable. That's like comparing Justin Timberlake to Paolo Nutini. Are you trying to say Pablo Neruda, the poet?
I don't know, dude. I think that guy wrote for Mike Dukakis, and he was like his campaign manager or whatever.
Well, I know Pablo Neruda was a famous poet. Is that an A? Paolo Nutini? I don't know.
Nutini. No, I don't know, dude. We are uncultured swine.
Yeah.
Apollo Nutini does sound like a delicious summertime drink, though.
I would like to be clear, though, really quickly. I am not saying the world says Amy Winehouse, Smash Mouth. I am not saying Smash Mouth, Amy Winehouse. I'm saying Smash Mouth Amy Winehouse. I'm saying they're both down here. She might have
Fair
a great
enough.
voice.
It's smart to walk it back now because you're getting killed.
I'm
in the
not walking it.
comments.
I'm not walking it back. I still think they have catchier songs, but I'm not saying they're great. I'm saying I don't understand why she gets championed. They both kind of
Well, okay,
suck, but
all right, it's two
at
things.
least
And
Walking on the
that's
Sun
fair.
is catchy.
I will. Okay, I will explain some of this too. It's. I do not think she would necessarily be remembered where she is had she not died young tragically. You know what I mean? Like
When's it
it's
tragic?
she died in her Kurt Cobain years and didn't live to her Axl Rose fat orange mutton chop years playing with Buckethead. You know what I'm saying? Like if she would have done that, I don't think people would look at her the same.
If Chinese Democracy had never come out, Guns, I mean, it would have been Axl Rose, like, oh my God,
Right.
legendary God. But then you're right, Chinese Democracy comes out, and I didn't even finish that album. I don't think I finished a single song. I listened to about a minute of each one before going, I can't listen to this. And
halfway through, I was like, you know what? I think communism's better for that country. I didn't realize how bad it would sound.
Todd Rubel, his voters can't afford to attend anything since Doge cut all their benefits. That's true.
Yeah, man. I mean, to do this right after you're making massive slashes in the government, it's just fucking wild, man.
I want to know. Sophie and Ken says Trump was seen crying. Are you just joking, Sophie and Ken, or
No, I
is
think
there
it's-
actual
I think
footage?
Nah, I mean, he's not gonna.
Paolo Nutini, the Scottish Italian singer. Fuck you.
What kind of obscure shit? What are you? Oh yeah, let me pull from my Rolodex of knowledge about Scottish Italian singer. I don't even know, dude. Look. I mean, it's true that Americans don't really know much entertainment outside the country.
We don't know anything outside our own country.
Yeah, I mean, I will take that criticism right on the face because that is me 100%. Whoever the Paul McCartney of France is, I couldn't fucking tell you. You know what I mean? Whoever the Beatles are of Portugal, no idea. I could be sitting right next to the John Lennon of fucking Brussels on the train to like he's coming from a gig, and I have no idea.
Same. Sophie and Ken says there was a video of Trump looking around and then shedding a tear, kind of like a Native American looking at litter from the 1970s in a commercial. Because they once talented singer and the other is just a commercial sellout, dude. You telling me she wasn't a commercial sellout? That she signed with a major label. They're all commercial sellouts. I just read Blink 182's Mark Hoppus.
That's my point. That goes to my point. She didn't live long enough to be doing Hooters commercials right next to Hulk Hogan doing a duet, talking about come buy American beer and American Hooter. Like she didn't live long enough to do that. If she would have, it would have. And she's like 80 pounds heavier now or whatever. Like it would have. It would have tarnished the legacy.
Fair point to you. Fair point to that. All right, next story. This one made me laugh. The Operation Spiderweb that Ukraine pulled on Russia had a negative effect on the United States. A NATO member, Poland, U-turned on buying Black Hawk helicopters, suggesting Russia's war shows they aren't the best weapon to focus on. So we always hear about the military-industrial complex. All we do is we sell arms to Saudi Arabia and Poland. Now they are seeing how cost-effective and just effective drones are. Ooh, this could put a dent in American military sales, and obviously already has.
That's true.
What was the amount that got canceled?
To be fair, I did Google this story because it seemed a little bit weird. That same Polish general that made that decision, you can find him in Polish media saying, "Listen, I know how long it takes our military to screw in a light bulb. I'm not giving these fucking guys helicopters. All right, how many Polish airmen does it take to fly a Black Hawk? One to pilot the plane and 27 other dudes to spin that fucking propeller till it gets off the ground. That's how they do it."
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The only thing missing from this article is I wish they had put how many they were going to buy and what the cost hit is. Its purchase of 32 helicopters, but I don't know how much each helicopter would cost. But either way, if this starts happening more and more, I mean, the thing is, we can pivot. We're already making drones. We just have to make smaller, better. Ooh. They need to go the route of Square. Remember when Square, the credit card company, showed up? They were, before then, you had Visa and the people that controlled the credit card industry, and they started saying, no, instead of charging you 8% per transaction, we'll charge 1%. They're going small and big. That's what the military industrial complex will have to do. Instead of selling one big helicopter, they're going to have to sell 20 smaller drones. They can do it.
Well, I think so that spider web attack used like really small drones to take out these, with explosives or whatever. I would say that was such an unconventional way of doing it that they weren't really expecting it. Whereas now they're kind of figuring out ways around that. You know what I mean? Like that is one thing to think about. But what I would, and I know they're trying to push this more of like, oh, they're doing these tiny little things. What I think that, Poland's thinking is, well, let's go, not necessarily those tiny ones that just fly bombs into the fucking things, but like, the unmanned Predator drones, some version of that.
Yeah. Okay. Bigger, higher, drop and launch. Yeah.
Bigger, higher, no human pilots getting fucked up. Yeah, I mean, like we do, I just think that's kind of going to be the future of fighting aerial battles. That's why in the sequel to Top Gun, they had to fucking go through all kinds of weird, like Beautiful Mind, Russell Crowe style loops to where it's like, this is why you need a guy flying the plane and a drone won't work, or missiles from far away. It's like insane. Yeah. And then they do it, and I'm like, nah, I think an aircraft would have fucking hit that thing with way more missiles. Like, I mean, I like it. I liked it. It was a good movie. It's fun. You what is that? You expand your disposition or whatever. Your disbelief. You know what I mean? You expand your disbelief, so you suspend your disbelief. So you're like, yeah, it's a fucking action movie. The point is you get to see cool planes flying, but like for realsies though, if this was real life, that general would be fired because he'd be like, you got a couple pilots killed and lost a bunch of money just to launch the same missiles we have on the craft we launched them from. We have way more fucking missiles. So let's just do that from now on. You're not a general anymore. You're now managing Hooters under Hulk Hogan.
I like how you tied that together. That was fantastic. I liked Maverick. One complaint. I was going to say no complaint. What? I kind of wanted Cruise to die at the end. I thought that would have been the most noble sacrifice. Like, it would have become full circle. He joins Goose, and like it would have been emotional to watch. But you can't kill Tom Cruise in a movie. But I thought that would have been the bold move to kill him. And like, holy shit, they killed Maverick. Like that would have fucked everybody.
You see him flying it into the ground, and then you see an Angel F-14 with angel wings flying out with Maverick and Goose, but like young in the 80s and shit.
Yep. I don't watch movies for factual information. I watch them to be entertained. Absolutely. There you go.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. You suspend your disbelief. It's a fun action movie. This is not Saving Private Ryan, Maverick 2. You know what I mean? Like it's a fun movie. They're not even saying a real country they're fighting. Those goddamn Blamanesians, we got to fuck them up. We got to go fly stuff and blow them up.
They didn't even make a fake country. They just didn't name the country, correct? I don't remember. Yeah, they just were
like, those enemies.
That enemy country.
We got to go fight those insurgents over there. To be fair, we didn't name an enemy during the Iraq War in real life. So, you know what I mean? It was accurate in that way. Sure.
Oh, well, next story, we're all going to die. So let's look forward to that. I love how these happened back to back because you knew they were. One day on June, let me just click to make sure, June 9, June 10. June 9th, U.S. Secretary RFK guts Vaccine Advisory Committee. He fires all 17 members of a U.S. CDC Control and Prevention panel of vaccine experts and is the process of replacing them. So everybody that's in it. And day 2, RFK Jr. announces 8 appointees to the CDC vaccine panel, and they're not good. They are vaccine deniers, YouTubers, and people that have been censured. And I mean, just
that's right.
Come on, this is what we knew was coming from day one.
That's right. They were like,
what an amazing
new vaccine experts whose website is called thevaccineisbullshit.com. I sell merch there. I sell little pills you can take instead of the polio stuff. But as the new head of the government's vaccine program, I've determined we should spend $0 on this, and Trump should go have another parade.
Oh, that'd be good use. But I love literally how I don't remember which Polynesian island it was, but he visited a Polynesian island, spread bullshit about vaccines. They had their largest measles outbreak ever, and he just sort of moved on, walked away, ignored it. And now we have the biggest measles outbreak in the United States in years in Texas, and it's spreading. And well, let's fire anybody that says vaccines work and bring in the people that say, no, don't get vaccinated. The measles train has left the station. All we can do is just laugh and ride it out.
See, and I thought there was a lot of nonsense with the, I would say the hyper paranoia on the tail end of the COVID thing. I didn't like a lot of the censorship happening. I didn't like a lot of the government mandates and stuff like that. That said, you know that the vaccine at least did something or didn't have the risk that it did because politicians were getting them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I know I've said this on here.
Fox News broadcasters would go on the air and talk about the vaccine. Well, Fox News had a mandatory vaccine thing. And again, the problem with the politicians, it was overpromise, underdeliver. You get this once, you're never going to get it in. It can't spread it. Okay, none of that's true. You get this, and it works like the flu. You get you don't get an extreme. Oh, okay, that's all we want is the truth. You get this shot, you might still get sick, but you won't get as sick. Okay, just be honest and tell us that. It doesn't cure shit. It just makes you less sick.
Right. Todd just put in the chat, even Joni Ernst is vaccinated. Exactly. Yes. And you know what? This is coming from somebody. I did have the government test a vaccine on me. When I was in the Army, before I went to Iraq, I know I've told the story on here. They tested an anthrax vaccine on me. They gave us tons of mandatory ones, but they said, oh, this one for anthrax, this is not mandatory. This is optional. I'm like, why the fuck is it optional? So I'm like, I don't want to take it then. You just gave me like a dozen other things and barely told me what they are.
Yeah.
Well, why is this optional? I don't want it. And it turned out, there was a guy in my platoon who claimed his cousin had taken one who was in the Marines like a year before, and it fucked up his pancreas, and he ended up dying later. Anyway, 3 months later, they were like, hey, that anthrax vaccine that was optional? It's now mandatory. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you guys fixed the bugs or whatever the fuck before I took mine. Unlike these goddamn lemmings all willing to run off a cliff 3 months earlier. That said, they could have lied to me about it.
I was just gonna say, I'm sure all they needed was 3 more months of, there's the tweak, and now it's safe.
Mm-hmm. But you know who I didn't see cutting in line in front of me? Joni fucking Ernst. I didn't see. You know what? If you guys remember when that vaccine came out, the politicians all got it right away.
Yeah,
it was the right, it was the left. The one thing that Joni Ernst and AOC were hand in hand on, completely in bipartisan agreement with, is skipping your grandmother in line to get the vaccine. That's how you know it's like, dude, they would have loved to just say this is bullshit, but.
And the only difference was AOC talked about how powerful the vaccines were, and Joni Ernst, I don't recall her saying don't get it, but she was kind of silent. She was just sort of like, oh yeah, I got mine, but I can see which way the temperature is going, and she didn't want to push back against her constituents who were all against it.
Well, exactly. They're on the side of the fence that is, pushing a lot of the stuff with RFK and all this. And like you said, man, it was certainly oversold from the beginning.
Yeah.
I didn't like how anybody pointing any of this stuff out or questioning anything was just, run the hell out of town, shadow ban, whatever the hell. But, that said, there was a man who died, I think 6 months ago, and he was the oldest living dude in an iron lung. He went into an iron lung when he was like, a kid, 5 or something, and lived like 80 fucking years in an iron lung, and the reason that he was the last dude that ever happened to was because of vaccines and stuff. So it's like, yeah, I get that the COVID one may have felt rushed, may have felt oversold, whatever, but to just have these people in here that go, oh, these things are inherently evil. It's just it's not a good move.
No.
I say that as my light falls off. I'm being shadow banned.
See, that's why I always face the window, so I get natural lighting.
Nah, it doesn't work as good for me. But it's not a good backdrop when I face away, so I just do this.
Look, I'm in a fucking basement with the exposed beams and shit. You think this is a good look? The one thing I always talk about, and I haven't said it on here in a long time.
I'm in my bedroom. It's practically a fucking Diddy party in here, man. It's crazy.
I haven't said this in a long time. Maybe I've only said it once, but I know I've said it. To me, the funny thing about the anti-vaxxers is the twists they take. Like, I listened to Aaron Rodgers on Rogan, and they both had COVID, and they both took monoclonal antibodies and ivermectin. And I'm not an anti-ivermectin guy. I get it. There's a horse paste and there is a human version, and it won the Nobel Prize. I'm not.
Yeah, that was another thing that fucking drove me nuts. We talked about it on here. My dog takes glucosamine for his joints.
Yeah.
I take glucosamine for my joints. Am I taking dog pills? According to CNN in 2022, yes.
Yeah, but so the thing, they both said that they beat the COVID by taking that combination, and I'm like, maybe you did, but when you look at the science, saying you took monoclonal antibodies and ivermectin and you beat COVID would be exactly like me saying I had a headache, so I took 2 oxycodone and an aspirin, and boy, that aspirin really worked. I think it was the monoclonal antibodies doing the heavy lifting, and the ivermectin didn't hurt. It helped, but it's like you can't just like throw
I
in
was
with
stopping
the
you
other
right there.
side.
You know what I think helped more than any of that? The fact that one is a professional athlete and the other one is like a black belt jiu-jitsu guy that eats nothing but elk that he shoots himself. Those guys were never going to be on a fucking ventilator. It doesn't matter how early they got it. It doesn't matter if they took nothing. They probably would have been fine. They would have had the sniffles, and that's about it.
And that is point 3 with the COVID. We knew early on, like really early on, that it was the elderly and the unhealthy that were getting the sickest and dying the most, and yet they still blanket statemented everybody. Did I get the vaccine? Yeah, because I didn't think it would hurt. Was I out? Was I in line like, gotta be first, gotta get 10 vaccines? No. Was I like, I'll never get it? No. I'm right in the middle. I'll get it. It can't hurt, and it doesn't hurt. It's fine. But yeah, you just approach these things from a centrist. You don't have to go to the fringe. Sophie and Ken, I used to follow Rogan and followed his crap until he got sick and realized he was full of shit. Yeah, I listened to Rogan.
I still like Rogan, dude. He still gives great interviews. Like, what are you talking about? He still gives great long form 3 interviews. Am I listening to everyone? No, because I don't have 18 hours a week to listen to interviews. Like, he does a lot of them, but with the Rogan interviews, you just kind of scroll through and see like, oh, I really like this comic, this actor, this whoever.
Yeah.
And then you listen to that one, or just the clips on YouTube. I look, it's great for what it is. I don't kind of like the talk of Rogan like he should be responsible for the entire information dissemination of the country just because he's got a lot of people that listen to his podcast, man. He doesn't have any kind of sort of I think ethical what's the man? I'm running out of words. Sorry, I'm unmotivated from the cold, but he's not a fucking doctor. So people talking about him as if he's committing malpractice because he's got a popular podcast is fucking crazy. It's like, yeah, does he have some nutballs on there? Yeah. Then don't take medical advice from a podcast. What do you want?
Which is what he said. But I would love, and I don't see this out of Rogan, I would love to see him balance crazy with intelligent. He had, and again, this is a bad example, but it's the one I can think of. He had Mel Gibson on talking about the Shroud of Turin. And Gibson, is fucking insane. He's manic. But so he talks about how the Shroud of Turin has been proven, and Jesus. I follow a biblical scholar. He has several master's degrees in, he studied at Oxford. He's a guy named Dan McClellan, and he broke down every single place Mel Gibson was wrong, and he showed where Mel Gibson got his false information from, and he exposed and it's like, I would love to have Rogan have Mel Gibson on, saying whatever he wants to say. Mel Gibson should be talking about his movies, first of all. That's about it. But
no, fuck that. We should get him drunk and send him on Rogan. Now that is a goddamn Rogan episode. I want to see him drunk. I want to see him coked up and like, who do I think?
Tossing out racial slurs at his girlfriend until
It's like, dude, you make him take shots until that thick Australian accent kicks in full gear.
This is where
now the cameras are rolling.
This is where I agree with Sophie and Ken. Rogan brings on people who you think are experts. Rogan is an idiot, but he buys into the experts BS. He sells the BS. A British guy called him out. He had that guy in that said Churchill was the villain in World War II, and he had another British guy, and I can't remember, it was a conservative that said, you sell this bullshit, you need to have more experts on. So I want Rogan to allow Mel Gibson to say all the bullshit about Jesus he wants, but then have Dan McClellan, a biblical scholar, on to say, here's where Mel was wrong. You let him, he doesn't balance. And that is what I think the problem is.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I'm also like, well, then don't listen to the episode where the guy is talking about the Shroud of Turin. I can't think of anything I'd rather listen to less than Rogan interviewing a guy about the fucking fake Shroud of Turin, man.
I would rather listen. Sway dumb people, though. That's you and I. He sways really dumb people that just, I have a buddy that listens to Rogan and just buys everything because that's what he does. And I get it. He's a friend.
Look,
but
I got my sister-in-law and her husband are both Egyptologists. Like they go and do dig sites and all that. Yeah. Like in Egypt, they teach at colleges, all that. And they're like, yeah, there's a couple guys that he has on that does basically bullshit Egyptology. And they've been like, yeah, this is all nonsense. But I mean, I think he did do one. To be fair to your point, he did do one with an actual Egyptologist. And this guy, I think Graham Hancock or something's his name. And or it might have been one of the other ones. I can't keep these guys straight. But here's the thing. I don't really give a shit. I just don't listen to those fucking episodes. You know what I mean?
But again, as I said, it's you and I. We skipped over. Tired of Liars had a good one back here that we skipped over. I had two sisters 1 year apart. One was an anti-vaxxer, and she and her husband both died. The other sister got COVID 4 times, but took the vaccines and is still going strong. The sister that died. So there you go. The anti-vaxxer got it. But Tired of Liars, how healthy? What's the disparity in health? Is one like way older than the other, or was one bigger or fatter? But you know, like I said, the vaccine, you'll get sick. You won't get as sick. So yeah, an anti-vaxxer will die first, but I think there is, I want to know an age and a health component of both. Tired of Liars, please put it in the chat.
But that's here, and here's the main point that I want to make in terms of why I didn't care about like government mandates or like making anybody else get the vaccine who didn't want to take it. Because at first they were saying, like you said, it was oversold. And they were like, "Oh, it's going to eradicate COVID. It's going to stop the spread and this and that." And then it slowly turned into, well, you know, it kind of helps the symptoms a bit. You can still get it. You can still spread it. And so it's like, okay, if you can get COVID, you can spread COVID with it. That vaccine is just for you. Like, it's just for your symptoms. If you don't want to, if you want to cough yourself to death, that's all. Hey, man, that's not my business. Now, I talked my mom's ear off one night trying to get her to get it. And I talked her into taking it, you know, somebody else's mom that I've never met. Fuck her. That's not my business. You know what I mean? Like, this is just to help you. If you don't want to take it, fine. I've over the past few months really started eating a little better, drinking a little less, and going running a lot. You know, I've dropped 30 pounds. I feel great. Now,
and I will get you to drink Celsius over Monster sooner or later. I will get you to drink Celsius over Monster sooner or later. I will keep hammering you home. Sorry to interrupt. Continue.
Never going to do it. I don't care what the FDA says about this. They're a bunch of fucking liars, those doctors.
Not the new ones. The new CDC will say
Monster Energy.
The new CDC will probably have Monster as a sponsor under RFK. Sorry, keep going.
If you drink Monster Energy, you won't get the measles. That's what I heard, dude. That's the word on the street. That's coming from the government now, man. Celsius is nothing but horse semen. That's what he said.
I have BCAAs today, amino acids, no Celsius. I have BC. I only drink Celsius once or twice a week.
Fucking A, I like acid. Anyway, yeah, that's the thing is since it's not about.
It's personal. You were saying it's about you. It's not.
Yeah. I started eating healthier and exercising. I'm not standing outside McDonald's drive-thrus with before-after pictures of me going, "Stop eating it, you fat bastard! Stop doing it! I don't give a fuck. Eat it. I still eat it sometimes, you know."
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. All right, one more story. This is a big one. This one I found confusing. I don't think we talked about it before because why would we? But I remember when it happened. Haley Joel Osment was arrested for public intoxication, and they said he ended his career because he used an anti-Semitic slur. Well, the update is Haley Joel Osment ordered to Alcoholics Anonymous and therapy after alleged public drunkenness. If he's in court and they're saying you were drunk, this is mandated, I don't think you need to use alleged anymore. But anyway, the whole point is...
No, I saw the video. It's from far away. He's trying to go up a ski lift without his snowboard. The guy's like, I can't just... And his helmet's on backwards. He's like, listen, man, it's not like I make people take breathalyzers before they get on here and ski, but like, you ain't got no skis. You ain't got no snow boots. Your fucking helmet's on backwards. I'm not sending you to the top of the mountain without a ski or snowboard. What are you doing? And then he's just, he's got the... And there's people yelling, because they're like, get him out of the way. We're trying to go up the hill. This is kind of funny.
Well, the part that I find funny and interesting is, here we go. According to Israel, Osment berated his arresting officer, claiming, quote, I've been arrested by a fucking Nazi, and then hurling an anti-Semitic slur at the officer. All right. Is he a fucking Nazi or is he Jewish? Because you just mixed things up. He can't be a Nazi and Jewish. This is the part that Nazis aren't Jews. I think that was the whole point of Nazi Germany is not Jews. So that's how you know he's blackout drunk and not anti-Semitic, because he's just throwing everything out there. When you call the same person a kike or a heeb and a Nazi, you're drunk.
Unless you're also yelling about Gaza at the same time, which he wasn't. He was just like, no, it's got nothing to do with what's going on in the Middle East. I just don't like that they control the fucking weather, these Nazi Jewish people. I mean, the guy was clearly out of his fucking mind. Not to say that it excuses it, but I mean, I guess he said that to the arresting officer after, like, because they got to come, to the snow resort. I don't think they got cops just waiting there. But I will say that getting arrested for being drunk and having coke, which I assume it's coke, they said illegal substance that they're sending to a lab, so some kind of powder. This feels like a drunk coke thing. But getting arrested for being drunk and on coke and trying to go up a ski mountain without a snowboard and then calling the officer Nazis and slurs at a ski resort. This is the whitest way to ever get arrested. Like, he did it. This is the whitest way to ever get arrested. This is fucking nuts, dude. It's nuts how white this is.
Oh, it really is.
Only way it could have been whiter is if you try to go down that mountain wearing boat shoes. That's the only way this could be whiter.
I would like that. All right, let's turn to the chat for the final, because we got updates from Tired Liar. So they were similar. So one was 64 and 65, but here's the difference. He said they're similar. The living one that took the vaccine smoked cigarettes and pot from her teen years, and the other one never smoked, didn't allow it. We didn't get weights. Video's great. No, well, we're going through StreamYard. You can see it above Jake's head. We got the little duck. We stopped going mobile. It was YouTube mobile that was the asshole. So as much as going into mobile feeds is better, we're not doing it. Monster is better than Celsius. Celsius has too much caffeine and will affect your heart.
God. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm a Celsius truther. Who is that? We're
That's
starting
Sophie
it up.
and Ken.
That's right, Sophie and Ken. I'm starting a Celsius truther conspiracy ring on 4chan with Celsius and Ken.
Celsius. I'm curious. Look at your can. How much caffeine does that Monster have? Because I know how much my Celsius has. I don't know.
I'm too spun up to read. Listen,
read it. I want to know. I want to know what it has. I bet the Celsius has more. I bet the Celsius, because the Celsius is like Jolt Cola.
Well, and the thing is, I don't mean to be spewing anti-Monster propaganda, but I don't think it's the caffeine you got to worry about with these. I think it's the crazy chemicals that I've never heard of.
That's my point. That's my point. Is Celsius has less Celsius has 200 milligrams of caffeine. They say it's like drinking 4 cups of coffee. I believe.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It is a ton of caffeine. Celsius is all about the caffeine, but fewer chemicals. The way I look at it is that they're both poison, but on a scale of 1 to 10, Monster is a 10 and Celsius is a 1. You're still drinking poison. It's not water. It's just
no. I'm doing 0 sugar, 0 calories. You got to knock off a few fucking points for that, dude. Otherwise, what the hell's a Monster with the
a
with
6,
the
a 5. We got a 1 and a 5, and then the Red Bull would be a 10.
You sound like the fucking guy who's yelling about how bad cigarettes is while you got 2 vapes coming out each side of your mouth going, I'm going to be fine. And then he's got some fucking weird shit that no one's ever heard of that they didn't even put in the can. That goddamn thing from Aliens bursting out of your chest. I'm the Celsius monster.
And I own it. I own that I am drinking poison. Just a different...
To be fair, God damn it, I can't find where the caffeine is on this can.
Snark Y2K says they lost at least 6 teachers after the shots. Yeah, because they all quit because they didn't want to. Danger Aware wants to know, can I boost our game? Boost away. Put it in the comment. I'll read it, and then we will sign off. I'll start the sign off now. I have been Nathan Timmel. I will continue to be Nathan Timmel. You can find all things me at nathantimmel.com. That is my website. I have a 1-hour special, Unapologetic, on YouTube. I have a t-shirt store. I write books. I do everything. Nothing makes me money or makes me successful. Jake can be found on social media at Jake Vevra. I just had to swallow a burp because I took a drink of those amino acids. Vevera.
Stuff's not good for you.
Now I'm hiccuping. He has a special, Unalived by Dog Pills, on YouTube. Yeah. Go watch that. Have a giggle. And there we go. And the thing I want to promote, check out the new tabletop game that can be 1 or 3D printed. It's called Respect My Personal Space. Danger Aware Organization is an organization that teaches children how to basically say no to adults so they can, not in a bad way, just like respect my personal space, like don't force. Danger Aware will be able to explain.
Vaccines on them.
Yes, there you go. All right, that is it. We might go again live on Friday. I have to talk to Jake about it because he was gone last week. I have scheduling. We're in summer conflict schedule, so we went live on Monday. I got something next week, so I'm going to see if Jake can do Friday. Good. So we might go live again Friday, but yeah, there'll be a few weeks in a row where our schedule is fucked up. But then hopefully over time, we will get back to every Saturday, live on Saturday after the summer schedule. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks for chatting. And thank you. The specials are funny as fuck.
Thanks,
that is our Lincoln, Nebraska resident. All right, I am clicking end stream, and I think I have to click it twice.
The pandemic was caused by people drinking Celsius.